In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the New Zealand fast track visa to citizenship. So the New Zealand just recently opened their border to attract skilled migrants to migrate to New Zealand for work. If you're able to get this visa, you only need to spend 2 years in New Zealand and you become a permanent resident, even leading to citizenship. And I'll also be sharing with you list of accredited employers in New Zealand. So hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name is Faith Ojane, and on this channel I talk about ways you can move and settle abroad. If this is the kind of content you like, then hit the subscribe button to join the family. Without saying so much, guys, let's get right into it. It's no news that most countries now are opening up their border to skilled migrants. The truth is, every country needs labor force. New Zealand is not one of those countries that has opened up their border to a lot of migrants. In fact, in 2022, based on the statistics, over 8,700 migrants left New Zealand because of their strict immigration laws. Now that they're saying that Australia is opening up their border, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities right now in Australia. I'm going to talk about Australia in my next video because the competition is serious. We all know countries like US, Canada, the UK, you see how their economy is booming. That's because these countries have opened up their borders to skilled migrants. So every other country is saying that, okay, this thing works. I think we need to allow skilled people to come into this country to work. We cannot do it on our own. So most countries that have closed up their border before, that does not allow migrants in, now allow migrants in. That is why New Zealand has launched a whole bunch of visa that would go into effect from September and next year also. This visa is going to be like fast track to citizenship. So they also have the work visa, work to resident visa. So this one you just need to apply for it, and it's a whole lot of things I'm going to be talking about. So if you want to live in New Zealand permanently and you have skills you can contribute to the New Zealand economic growth, your application is more likely to be accepted if you have employment in area in which New Zealand has skills shortage. So I'm going to leave the link of the New Zealand shortage occupation in my description box below. Of course, every country have the particular occupation where they have skill shortage, and that is why most of those times they like to fill in those vacant position with skilled migrants. Remember, migrating to any country, it is not easy because every country have their own immigration rules and policies. So you have to meet all the immigration rules. You have to be eligible, you have to meet the criteria and everything before you can migrate. So for you to meet the criteria and eligibility to be able to migrate to New Zealand for work, you need to have enough skills, experience and qualification to use for New Zealand government to accept your expression of interest and invite you to apply for residence. This work to residence is like direct visa. You just you apply for it. You need to be 55 years under when you apply. You need to speak reasonable amount of English. I mean, you need to be able to speak English properly. If you meet the visa condition, you're going to move to New Zealand and you're going to live indefinitely. So you can live, you can work, you can study in New Zealand with this visa, including your partner and your dependent children aged 24 and under in your resident application. If you know you're meeting the criteria, all you need to do is to register your interest at any time by sending your expression of interest to the New Zealand government, and if the New Zealand government selects your EOI, you will be invited to apply for residence. You will have 4 months to send your application. Also, if you don't want to go through this route of, work to resident, like apply for residency right from your home country, you can also apply for a job in New Zealand. I'm going to leave the list of accredited employers in New Zealand in this video. You know how the UK have employers with a sponsorship license? It's the same thing with New Zealand. It's not every employer in New Zealand that can sponsor your visa to New Zealand. So you need to look for accredited employers. So these employers have the permission to recruit international skilled migrants, and this employer will process your visa and do everything. They've done it in a way that employers cannot exploit migrants. So I mean, the process the employers have to follow to recruit migrants, there is no way for them to exploit migrants. But again, you need to know that Before you get a job in New Zealand, the job has to be advertised in New Zealand, and if there is nobody to fill in the position in New Zealand, that is when the job will be given to someone outside New Zealand. New Zealand has not scrapped the labor marketers like the UK have. The UK used to have something like this, like employers cannot recruit people outside the UK unless they could not find anyone in UK before they can give the job to someone outside the UK. But in New Zealand, job must be advertised for a particular period of time in New Zealand. If there's nobody to fill in the job in New Zealand, then the employers can now give the job to an overseas candidate. So this is still in place. Just have that in mind. Before we go to the list of accredited employers, I need you to watch this little clip so you have an idea what I'm talking about. Let you not be like, I've not done my assignment. I've done my assignment. This country needs you. If you're a skilled migrant, they need you. So let's watch this clip from the New Zealand immigration minister.
Michael Wood is the new immigration minister after the Prime Minister announced a cabinet reshuffle this week. But the change comes at a critical time in the COVID-19 recovery, as New Zealand loses more people than it gains. Statistics New Zealand says Aotearoa had a net migration loss of almost 9,000 people in the year to the end of April. Erica Stanford is National's immigration spokesperson. Kia ora, welcome to Q&A.
Good morning.
You surprised by those numbers?
No, I'm not surprised at all. They're very shocking.
Why is that?
I'm not surprised because when you break them down and you look at them, who are the people that are leaving? It's not Kiwis, it's migrants. And why are migrants leaving? Well, it's because we've treated them so poorly over the last 4 or 5 years. They've been in queues that last a mile long. They've just been transferred into a new queue that lasts another 2 years. They've been split from their families. They've really just had enough. We keep shifting the goalposts on them. So all of those nurses, those teachers, those doctors, those truck drivers, people we desperately need here have gone, well, thanks very much, but actually I've got a better deal in Australia, so I'm out of here.
We've seen some significant changes to policy settings over immigration in the last few months. When do you expect that net migration loss will become a net migration gain?
I think we're in this for the long term. This is the first time we've seen a net migration loss since 2011, since the earthquakes, right? And I think we're going to be in this for the long term. And the reason being is because there is a global war on talent. So every country in the world is after those same amazingly talented migrants. And we are not putting ourselves in a position to be able to compete with the likes of Australia, Canada, the US, the UK, to attract the best talent. So I think this is going to be a trend for a long time. Not only not attracting migrants, but not being able to retain Kiwis in New Zealand.
What role should migration play in our economic recovery from COVID-19?
It's a huge critical factor. I mean, you look at Adrian Orr when he hiked the OCR for the second time just recently. His comments were that this is the biggest handbrake on our economic recovery. If we want to get ourselves out of the sort of death spiral of inflation, we need to grow our economy. And right now, we've got CEOs of businesses working on the shop floor. They can't grow their company because they're busy washing dishes or growing plants. And we've got, you've seen restaurants in Queenstown closed 2 days a week. How is that good for our productivity? How is that good for our economic growth? We need to be attracting the best migrants, and the policy changes over the last little while have done exactly the opposite.
Okay, let's talk through some of those policy changes. So at the start of last month, the government introduced what it called an immigration rebalance, including a green list, which targets professional migrants in 85 different high-skilled roles and gives them a fast track to citizenship. Do you support that process?
Well, funnily enough, I'd say last year, if you go back and look at National's policy around COVID, one of the parts of that I wrote, and that had on it a health workforce strategy where I said, look, give these people residence as they walk off the plane. We should be rolling out the red carpet for health workers. We don't want to see people dying because they can't get into the emergency department and be seen, which is exactly what's happening right now. So that was our policy. It's taken the government over a year to put in place that exact same policy, but they still managed to bugger it up. We've still got nurses on a 2-year wait for residence. They can go to Australia and get residence immediately. The same in Canada, the same in the US.
Canada's 6 months. I checked it out. Canada's 6 months. US is a year to 18 months. So faster than New Zealand, absolutely, but not necessarily immediately.
They do have fast track policies though, and in Australia you can go there straight away. I mean, our main competitor is Australia, right? They're our main competitor. They're the ones trying to get our nurses over there, and you can get residence almost immediately in Australia. So if you were a nurse overseas, maybe in the Philippines or India or the UK, thinking, where am I going to go? Are you going to go to New Zealand, where it takes 2 years plus visa processing time, which, by the way, takes 45 months at the moment for an essential skills, a skilled migrant visa? Or are you going to go to Australia, where, frankly, you're paid a bit more, better cost of living, and you can get residence immediately?
So after watching that 3-minute clip, what do you think? The truth is, this country, they know they need migrants. This is the immigration spokesperson of New Zealand. So She is saying the country needs migrants, and she is saying that they want the country, that's New Zealand, to ease their immigration rules to allow migrants in. In fact, even give them fast track visa to residence and citizenship. So I mean, New Zealand is coming with the banger. So if you've not started considering New Zealand, you need to start considering it. And in case you're wondering, oh, why should I move to New Zealand, don't worry, I'll make another video explaining reasons why you should move to New Zealand. For the list of accredited employers, I'll leave the link of the accredited employers in my description box below. So all you need to do, once you go through the list of the accredited employer, copy the name of the accredited employer and put it on Google search. And once the website open up, go to their career page and search for current job vacancies and apply for them. That is basically all you need to do. I mean, it is not easy. You have to put in the work. After watching this video and hearing what the immigration spokesperson is saying, that's to show you that the country is really interested in bringing in migrants. Okay, so you're hearing it from the horse's mouth. This is not from Faith. This is the Minister of Immigration spokesperson in New Zealand. She's saying they need to roll out red carpets for migrants to walk into the country. They need to make it migrant friendly. They need to ease their immigration rules. So I mean, New Zealand is coming up with a whole lot of things that will make you migrants want to rush there. So that's why I'm bringing the news to you earlier, so you can start preparing. Anyway guys, we have come to the end of this video. If this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up, like, share, comment, subscribe. I want to know your thoughts in the comment section. Tell me what you think. Do you think this is a welcome idea? Do you think that you want to consider New Zealand, or do you think that New Zealand is too far away from everywhere? I don't want to go there. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and guys, I'll see you in my next video.